Soulmates, we are back after a very eventful, to say the least, Super Bowl weekend. You best believe we will get into it on this Monday, February 13th. Welcome to Fox Soul's Black Report. I am Courtney Hicks.
And I'm Nicordelai Corte. We are honored to stand behind this desk each and every day to take you on a journey across Black America.
That's right. We are here to bring you our news, our views, and our voice. So let's start with the halftime performance that received mixed reviews from some, but definitely surprised everybody.
That's right, Courtney. This year it was the one and only Rihanna belting out hit after hit. Take a listen.
So the 13-minute set featured a series of platforms soaring above the field. I think the cinematography was great, and hundreds of backup dancers also capturing attention. This baby bump, and I was looking at the screen like, what's happening here? The 34-year-old 9-time Grammy winner confirming afterwards that she is definitely pregnant with her second child.
Oh, wow, that was just so wonderful to see. And then, but before the game, it's also important that everyone focus on actress and singer Shirley Ralph. She was absolutely amazing. She took to the field to perform the Black National Anthem like we've never heard it before. Take a look.
That the dark past has taught us, sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought.
That was Shirley Ralph belting it out like we haven't seen it before. However, Sunday night, angry viewers rushed to social media to slam the NFL for the decision to have the performance of the Black National Anthem at the Super Bowl. Now, this is not the first time Lift Every Voice and Sing was performed before kickoff, although it was the first time it was performed on the actual field.
I didn't know that. Very interesting. All right. And, you know, we can't forget about Babyface. He sang his rendition of America the Beautiful. Take a listen.
And crowned by good with brother from sea to shining sea.
Yeah, it was giving me Baby Lullaby vibes, but I love Babyface. Don't jump on me. Yeah, the 64-year-old Grammy Award winner accompanied the song with a guitar. You saw there, featuring, of course, the American flag. Now, in a press conference, Babyface said he was surprised to receive the call asking him to perform, but was thrilled to have the chance to do so. I thought it was a little sleepy, though. That's just me.
Well, but Black Twitter can't shut up about singer Chris Stapleton.
Ooh.
He gave a simple but powerful rendition of the Star Spangled Banner before Super Bowl 57. If I had a lighter right now, I would light it right now for Chris Stapleton's rendition. And I'm not alone. Several players and coaches were in tears during Stapleton's performance, including Eagles head coach Nick Sirianni. The country star was one of 3 performers to open the show. Shirley Ralph sang Lift Every Voice and Sing, as we just mentioned. And, of course, Babyface performed America the Beautiful.
May I start?
This felt like an amazing entertainment experience. What's your take, Courtney Hicks?
As a musician, a vocalist, trained gospel and classical, I felt that Babyface, I don't know if he was just playing it safe. He was just very conservative and sleepy. I don't want to get in trouble for talking about Auntie Cheryl. However, I don't know who decided to start her in that key and use the bottom of her register. Sometimes you want to be able to close your eyes and say, oh, that's Shirley Ralph. I didn't get that. It was very hot Broadway-ish. I just felt, I know it's a show and I know it's entertainment, but I really just wish it would have been more Shirley Ralph to me. I mean, she can sing. She's a dream girl, the original dream girl. And I guess maybe in her voice, as far as her tone, I didn't hear enough her. Now, Chris Stapleton, on the other hand, he is an honorary black man. It was just him through and through. And anytime, he's been accepted by, if you will, the black community for a long time. He showed up at a Medea play. They stopped the play, pulled him out of the audience to sing Tennessee Whiskey. So I knew he was going to smash it. He's so authentic, so original and real. I'd give him the best performance of the night out of the three.
Chris Stapleton's performance, it felt amazing. I love the rendition. It reminded me of when Ray Charles performed many years ago. And so I think his performance is really going to age well in terms of Star Spangled Banner performances at the Super Bowl. But, Shirley Ralph's performance, I loved it. I loved it so much. I want to make that my ringtone. That's how great it was.
That's where we differ.
I mean, Lift Every Voice is a hard song to sing. And, obviously, I've been to a number of events where it's been sung. I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
But I just love the arrangement there and the part of the song where she's just sort of marching on, and then that high note at the end. It was different, but it felt like her. It felt fresh. And just overall, I just think the entertainment for the Super Bowl, it felt so family friendly.
Yeah.
It felt like just a great experience from beginning to end. The game was great.
It felt inclusive. There was a lot going on for black people in
a lot of inclusion.
Back to Auntie Cheryl, I just felt that there could have just been more of her as far as the delivery and the voice is concerned. I thought the look and the theatrics were great. I just didn't hear Shirley Ralph as far as the singing voice is concerned. I thought it was too low and just too low and too low. We're gonna differ
on this, but from a very technical side, I understand what you're saying, but I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it.
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah.
All right. Something a little bit more heavier, as former NFL players are suing the league over disability claims and systematic bias. The 10 retired players that are accusing the NFL commissioner Roger Goodell and the league's benefit plan of paying doctors to deny claims. That's what this is all about. Now, the former players say the board has shown a repeat pattern of failing to fulfill its responsibility to players once they retire. The lawsuit seeks to recover benefits the former players claim they are owed and prevent it from happening in the future. So although lots of us were celebrating the significance of this Super Bowl and the black history of it all, there are some players, black players in particular, who are saying, hey, we're not being done right by the league. We still owe things from the league. So they took this platform and this huge game to kind of voice their concerns as well and tip us to what's happening in this particular lawsuit. Very serious matter coming off the joy, if you will, of everything surrounding the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and really what stood out to me from this lawsuit, the NFL players, they are zeroing in on how systematic this was. They said that purportedly neutral doctors were hired by the plan to evaluate the players' injuries. They were rewarded with more cases if they denied more claims, all in an effort to limit the payment of benefits to the very players whom the plan was designed to help. And so that is a pretty damning accusation there. And, especially, given all the work that the NFL has been doing to try and turn the page on this, I think with Damar Hamlin's cardiac arrest and survival of that, I think, the league has really sort of latched on to him. They've really, sort of embraced him and have shown up to support him. But I think a lot of these players are saying, well, what about the other players?
Yeah.
What about the players that are having to deal with the effects of CTE and other football-involved injuries from the neck up and the neck down. And
and I don't think it's necessarily a black thing. I just think this collection of players who are in the lawsuit are primarily black. But I think this is a far stretching issue that touches every player who's on the field, who sacrifices their body every season. So we'll have to keep tabs on this lawsuit just as much as we keep tabs on all the fanfare surrounding the Super Bowl, because this is important. If there's no players, there's no game.
Yeah, that's right. Well, speaking of fans, hip-hop fans are mourning the loss of a legend. Trugoy the Dove has died. He was a founding member of the group De La Soul. They were best known for the 80s hit Me, Myself, and I. A representative confirmed the death of the rapper whose real name was David Jude Joacure, but did not release any details. Now, Tregoy previously revealed that he suffered from congestive heart failure. Yeah. He was only 54 years old.
Hated to hear that on Super Bowl Sunday. He will be missed. All right, let's move on here. A relative of Emmett Till is suing to try to make a Mississippi sheriff serve a 1955 arrest warrant on a white woman in the kidnapping that led to his brutal murder. Now, last June, a team doing research at the courthouse in Leflore County, Mississippi, found an unserved 1955 arrest warrant for Carolyn Bryant, listed on that document as Mrs. Roy Bryant. Till's cousin, Patricia Sterling of Jackson, Mississippi, filed a federal lawsuit against the current Leflore County sheriff to serve Bryant. Now, the arrest warrant against Carolyn was publicized in 1955, but the Leflore County sheriff at the time told reporters that he did not want to, quote, bother her since she was raising 2 young children.
The Shelby County District Attorney's Office says that they will go through every single case handled by the former Memphis Police Department officers who played a role in the fatal beating of Tyree Nichols. Now, the officers were members of the department's Scorpion unit. The unit was launched 2 years ago to patrol what police say are high crime areas. It's since been disbanded. A total of 7 officers have been fired in connection to Tyree's death. 3 emergency medical workers have also been fired.
And sticking with the Nichols case for a moment, there's new reports that say the family, Tyrese Nichols' family, and their attorneys are taking their fight for justice to the United Nations. Now, the family sent a letter to the United Nations demanding change in MPD and law enforcement agencies nationwide. The letter addressed the UN High Commission for Human Rights in Geneva, Switzerland. It describes Tyree Nichols' death as being a part of a larger pattern of police brutality around the country. It compares his death to those of Michael Brown, Eric Gardner, George Floyd, and of course, Breonna Taylor. And this is kind of reminiscent of, the message that is now very clear that, the platform that his family is unfortunately now on in regards to getting justice and getting this message out about police reform. We just saw his mom and stepdad as a part of the State of the Union address. And just like George Floyd's case, now there's some international rippling effects as they have now reached out to the international audience, if you will, to help support this effort in getting this reform done and looked at and discussed.
And how embarrassing is this for the United States that, this issue of police reform seems to be logjam in Congress. The best we can get is an executive order out of President Biden. But we're now having to take our case to the United Nations, an international body, to say that there is a pattern and practice of police misconduct that is happening in departments across the United States. And we're needing this international body to, really highlight this issue. And really pressure the United States government to do something substantive about it. Now, this isn't the first time that we've seen civil rights leaders take their pleas to the United Nations. This is something that happened, back in the 1960s, where, Dr. Martin Luther King, among others, had taken the cause of racial justice to the United Nations, recognizing it as a global injustice. And so part of what we're seeing here in the United States, you better believe that there are countries around the world that are also dealing with similar issues. And so that's just how important this issue is.
And we just might want to add that just last week, Reverend Al Sharpton was over in Britain. It wasn't the United Nations, but it was, of course, an international platform where he spoke about the Nichols case. And they compare the differences and the similarities between, the push for African Americans here with police reform and Black Britons who are facing a lot of the same issues. So, this push has been ongoing for a while now, and it's a good but unfortunate situation that the Nichols family has been put in. But I am grateful that they have subscribed to what this now means and how they're going to have to push forward with that message.
We got to get it together.
That's
we got to get it together. Now over to Minnesota. Minnesota, where the video from a black AC worker is going viral after Alonzo Harmon captures the moment a resident calls police on him after she doesn't believe the company sent him to do the job. And he posted the whole thing to his TikTok. Take a look.
She is on the phone with 911 right now.
She said I'm rude and he's just threatening me right now.
Look at her. She said I just threatened her. What threat did I make towards you?
I'm Elizabeth.
What threat did I make towards you, ma'am? Huh? This is crazy. I've never. I already knew what it was when I first got here, though.
He or she is 1 minute later trying to sound distressed so the police can come quicker.
What? What in the world is this, boy? I ain't gonna lie. I've never in my life had to deal with no bull like this. Never in my life.
See, that's how, that thing blows up. With these crying wolf, these false cries, and the police come and they act in ways that are totally unnecessary. I wish this young man, taping it was great for the proof, but I wish he would have just got in his car, reported to his superiors, and went on to his next call. Just a shame here. We'll have to keep up on that and see how people continue to react to that. Now to Ohio, where footage is also out now of a press conference taking a dangerous turn. You're looking at Ohio State Police slapping handcuffs on Evan Lambert. He's a reporter for a TV network, News Nation. Now, according to his network, Lambert was asked by police to stop his live report because they say it was disruptive. Now, there are conflicting accounts of what actually happens next, but it ended with that reporter being booked on charges of criminal trespass and resisting arrest. News Nation says it intends to fight in court, as they should. Again, two stories that have been trending for a while now. The Karen Gate, starting there. I don't know if that woman understood the danger that she was putting or even cared about the danger she was putting that young man in to make that sort of kind of a phone call, to use that sort of kind of emotion when she clearly was not in danger. And this is why we keep on reporting on the type of stories we keep reporting on, is because it's like these wolf cries. It reminds me of the young man walking in the park, watching birds, the young lady with the dog it just has to stop, because what they don't understand is for us, the ramifications are most times deadly.
Yeah, and there's a long history of particularly white women sort of weaponizing their tears against black folks, particularly black men. Right before the pandemic, one of the last places that I went to visit was the National Lynching Museum down in Alabama. And if you read, the descriptions, of all the stories that they have documented of folks, nearly 5,000 or over 5,000 black folks who have been lynched here in this country, you hear a lot of these stories. So historically, there have been, allegations, of black men meaning white women harm that has resulted in death by lynching, death by shootings historically. And so, it's important. It's important that we highlight that this is nothing new, but it's got to stop. It's really got to stop.
We just mentioned the Emmett Till case.
Yeah.
I know you wanted to say something real quick about the reporter who was apprehended. Out there just doing his job. They say it was disruptive, but that's what reporters do. We cover live events. We bring the news to our viewers.
Yeah, and it's important to note that he spent 5 hours in jail before being released on bond, and said, quotes, "No journalist expects to be arrested when you're doing your job." And I think that's really important that doesn't happen in our country. This is a disgrace, and I think the governor's office should speak up a bit more on this. This is a situation, another one that could have gone from bad to worse in 5 seconds.
I'm hoping his network gets to the bottom of that.
I hope so too. Still ahead, it's being labeled as slander.
Say it ain't so. We have the latest on the AP African Studies scandal, plus the justice Black farmers are looking for. We'll be right back. You're watching Fox Soul's Black Report.